low post, mid post, high post, post game sports.
Oh man, good morning, good morning, good morning to the people of YouTube and wherever you might be listening to this podcast. I am post game sports coming to you live on this Saturday morning. And we will be going through the first round of the NFL draft, letting you guys know where we feel like a few of your favorite players might be picked at. But I got some very special guests with me today. I got my man Robert at WTP for Life. How you doing this morning, homie?
I'm doing great this morning, man. Ready to enjoy this nice podcast this morning and this nice weather we got here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm ready to enjoy it all today. Basketball and everything that's got life got in store for us today. I'm ready for.
Yeah, man, it's not looking too well up here in South Bend or northern Indiana area, man. It's a little gloomy, but enjoy the weather, man. I see you looking nice, man. I like that, Rob.
Oh yes, sir. Thank you.
I got my man T1 of City League TV. How you doing this morning, homie?
I'm doing great, my brothers. I'm doing great, man. Like Rob said, it's a beautiful day in the city right now. So I'm doing great. And you was right, a post, Rob looking like he on First Take on ESPN or something. I'm liking the background and everything, man. I'm loving everything about your look this morning, bro.
Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Hey, Rob is on the cover of a magazine later on today, y'all. So, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. We also got my main man, One Take Zaya. How you doing this morning, homie?
What up? What up? Hey, I'm loading up the computer right now, so I don't know. We're gonna get started on the phone first. But what's good with y'all? Y'all good?
Yes,
Oh,
sir. Chilling.
ready.
I'm glad to see you, T1. What's up? We got T1 back in the building,
In
baby.
the building, man. Y'all, hey, y'all know I've been working, man. I've been working 7 days a week, man. So I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. It's definitely great to be back with my brothers, man.
Man, last time we seen you, you was getting a tan.
Hey, yeah, I had to get that. Like I said, I've been working, so I had to go take a vacation. There was vacation time. When you put that work in, you gotta get you a little bit of vacation time in too, or you might just drive yourself a little crazy.
Nah, work hard, play hard.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Right.
sir. And these, ladies and gentlemen, is some of the finest sports analysts you will find across the world. See, I got my Indianapolis Colt gear on. Unfortunately, we don't have a first round pick, but we gonna make it do what it do. So let's get into it, y'all. I kind of want to do it like uh all of us have. Hold on, let me bring up the simulator. All of us will have 3 picks, and we'll do 3 picks apiece until there's no more picks left in the draft, in the first round of the draft. I kind of like it like that way. So we'll start with Rob, we'll go to T1, and then we'll go to Zay, and then I'll end it out. Sound good with y'all?
Great.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Parlay Poe in the chat, man. How you doing, Poe?
Parlay Poe, what it do?
All right. So without further ado, Rob, is on you. The Oakland Raiders are on the I'm sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock. Where they going, homie?
Yeah, with the very first pick overall for the Las Vegas Raiders, they take Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana.
Okay. Pretty much a no-brainer pick. I think everybody has Mendoza going to the Raiders. What are the Jets doing at 2?
At number 2, the New York Jets take Arvell Reese, defensive end, linebacker, Mr. All Everything out of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Arizona on the clock at 3, needing QB, tackle, D-line, linebacker. Where the Cardinals going with this pick?
I think at number 3, the Arizona Cardinals go with David Bailey, defensive end, outside linebacker out of Texas Tech.
Excellent. So just real quick, Rob, give me a rundown of why you made these picks.
Well, I think unless the Raiders can trade back and possibly have some interest in Ty Simpson, they're going to probably take Mendoza at number 1 if the right deal doesn't come for them to go backwards and get Ty Simpson. I think when you look at Arvell Reese and you look at David Bailey, which is probably going to be the next 2 guys taken off the board because of the needs of those teams, I think when you look at both of those players, you could just do a whole lot more defensively with Arvell Reese than I think you can with David Bailey. Even though David Bailey is a really good pass rusher, Arvell Reese can do so many different things because of that athleticism and speed that he has. So I think that they would not be able to pass up on him at number 2 at New York because he can just do so much. And then, of course, David Bailey, you need a pass rush. You need a guy who can get after the quarterback. So he would most likely be that pick at number 3 for Arizona.
Nice. I like it. Wow. The Tennessee Titans on the clock. You got picks 4, 5, and 6.
All right.
Let's start with Tennessee. They need running back, center guard, edge, and linebacker. Where they going, homie?
Yeah, hey, the clock is running right now. We in the green room. All right. So, those are awesome, great position of need. Hold up. I think the call is coming in. With the 4th pick, the Tennessee Titans, and you're gonna like this post game. The Tennessee Titans select Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame University.
Nice. The New York Giants on the clock, T1. They need wide receiver, guard, linebacker, and safety. Where are the G-men going?
This quick came in very, very quickly. With the 5th pick, the New York Giants select Caleb Downs out of the Ohio State University.
And your Brownies are on the clock, man. PFF claims they need QB, wide receiver, guard, and tackle. I don't think they need a QB, but this is your pick. Where your Browns doing at 6?
With the 6th pick, where my stuff go? My fault. Stuff went out. I had to wipe my screen. With the 6th pick of the NFL draft, the Cleveland Browns select Sonny Styles from the Ohio State University.
Interesting. So give me a rundown, homie, on your picks. You take Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame, for Rob's Tennessee Titans to pair with the quarterback. You take Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, to the G-men, and you take linebacker Sonny Styles from Ohio State. Tell us about those picks, homie.
Yeah, the first pick with Jeremiah Love was a no-brainer. He's a special running back, can do it all, utility knife. There's nothing that he can't do. And they're just trying to build a dynamic offense there in Tennessee. So that was an easy pick for those guys.
Okay. How about the Giants taking the safety from Ohio State, Caleb Downs at
They
5?
were able to get the top safety, and that's what these teams want to do. They want to get the top players at the positions that they need. So that was a great pickup for them, a very, very safe pickup for them as well.
Now, interesting pick, my man. With the Browns needing offensive line help, with them needing wide receiver help, you can't pass up on the talent of a Sonny Styles at linebacker. Tell us why you made that pick.
They just almost took with this pick, they almost took the best player available. They were about to pick another Buckeye in Carnell Tate, and they really, really was high on Carnell, and they wanted to pick him, but they were just blown away with Sonny Styles, and they just couldn't see them passing him up if he was on the board, and he's from the state of Ohio, so they couldn't pass up that talent. They were just blown away by his numbers at that NFL combine, and just knowing that he comes out of a factory like Ohio State. They just couldn't pass him up. Like I said, they wanted to go with Tate, another Buckeye, but they just couldn't pass him up.
All right, I'll rock with it. That is definitely a difficult player to pass up. You got Sonny Styles, so athletic, so versatile, going from safety to linebacker. He could be a game changer for somebody's defense. So we up with picks 7, 8, and 9. The Commanders, the Saints, and the Chiefs. One take Zaya. The Commanders are on the clock. Talk to us, homie.
At number 7, the Commanders is going to grab Makai Lemon out of USC.
Okay. The Saints at 8. Where they going, homie?
8, we're going to go Ruben Bang out of Miami.
Okay. And then the Kansas City Chiefs at Nina. Where they going?
At 9, we're going to go Mansour Delane out of LSU.
Interesting. So talk to us about the first pick. Makai Lemon out of USC going to the Commanders with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I just think they need another guy right there in that position. They was real banged up, man. After they got banged up last year, I feel like they just didn't have enough weapons. You can never have enough weapons. So I like pairing him with Jaden Daniels, man. He's a guy that's always going to be open.
No doubt about that. So you go Ruben Bain. A lot's been said about his arm length, but he doesn't fall out of the top 10. He goes to the Saints. Talk to us about that pick.
Yeah, they ain't re-signed Cameron Jordan yet, so they got to fill that position. They keep talking about the measurables, but one thing we know about Ruben Bain is the motor is there, bro. He got the motor.
Oh yeah. At 9, Kansas City Chiefs take Mansour Delane. Talk to the people about that pick.
They got to shore up that secondary. They traded Trent McDuffie. I don't think they was trying to pay that bill for him. I think the Chiefs really go their first. They got 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. They going to have to go defense 3 out of the 4.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
can I say something real quick, Zay? One take. There was a lot of buzz going around Kansas City that they will pick up Carnell Tate and pair him up with Mahomes and give him that dynamic receiver, and he was still on the board. Do you know why Kansas City went that direction?
Yeah, they like I said, they just traded their best DB. They got to shore up. They got to shore up that secondary. We understand Patrick Mahomes is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I think this is a deep wide receiver draft. You can still find some very good wide receivers in the second or third round.
Yes, sir. Well, the board is interesting because I think the Bengals really were hoping for Caleb Downs to fall for them at 10, but since he did not, I'm going to take Francis Malgoa from Miami to tackle. even though they say they need a guard, I'll plug them a tackle and they can figure out the rest. Then you got the Dolphins at 11 who just traded their wide receiver. So I like Carnell Tate here out of Ohio State, and the Dallas Cowboys at 12. They say they need a D-line linebacker and a corner. But I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to make that offense even more crazier, and I'm going to give them Kenyon Sadiq, who ran the fastest 40 time for a tight end probably ever. And with those picks, man, I just feel like the Bengals, I know they need defense, but they got to protect Joe Burrow and let him cook. And then with Miami, them signing Willis at quarterback, I just feel like he needs a target. I really like Carnell Tate, his route running, his ability to catch. He got great hands, his ability to pluck the ball out the air and make plays. I think Carnell Tate is going to be in the NFL for years to come. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys could have won defense, but I felt like pairing Kenyon Sadiq with those receivers they got, and Dak Prescott having a mismatch target in the middle of the field was too juicy to pass up. Any thoughts, fellas?
Hey, I like all of those picks right there, and I like Jeremiah in Miami, although I would have preferred him in Cleveland.
Oh yeah. All right, so Rob, you back on the clock. Hold on. Did we get somebody in the building? Did somebody join the stream?
No, I think we lost. It looked like we lost Zay.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, he back. All right, Rob, you back on the clock. You got the Rams at 13. You got the Baltimore Ravens at 14. And you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 15. What are the Rams doing with this pick?
The Rams at number 13, they're going to take Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, out of Georgia. They need some offensive line help. And since you took our man Francis out of Miami, we had to go ahead and rely on Monroe Freeling right there at that offensive tackle spot. And at 14, the Baltimore Ravens select an offensive lineman, Spencer Fano, out of Utah, so that they can shore up that offensive line for our man Lamar Jackson. And at 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were hoping they was going to get Kenyon Sadiq, but they are not going to get him. So they got to go a different direction, and they're going to go with safety out of Oregon, Dylan Diamond, is that his name? Safety out of Oregon.
Okay, sorry, okay. I mean, I can dig it. Talk about your pick to the Rams, the tackle from Georgia.
Well, they definitely needed some offensive line help, so they had to go in that direction to try to shore up that thing for the Rams, especially to shore up their run game and to protect their old quarterback, who they think might have another 2 or 3 years on the shelf for them.
Hold on, man. My man Parlay posted homerism, man. Which pick you talking about, dog? Let us know.
Oh, he talking about T1 all day.
How about your pick, man? The Baltimore Ravens take the tackle from Utah.
Baltimore Ravens also wanted to shore up their offensive line as well, so they went with what they felt like was the best offensive lineman still available in Spencer Fano. So they go with him out of Utah to help shore up that offensive line.
And then you take the safety from Oregon, Dylan Thieneman.
I really didn't want that to be the pick. I think they wanted to get that tight end, of course, Kenyon Sadiq, who already got picked. So I think they just went with what was the best available on the defensive side of the ball, probably for trade bait.
Okay. So T1, we back on the clock, man. You got the Jets making their second pick in the first round. You got the Lions at 17, and you got the Vikings at 18. Where are the Jets going?
And what are their needs?
Their needs is QB, wide receiver, edge, and corner. If there's any positions you would like me to read off, let me know.
All right, that's all right. We're gonna with the 16th pick of the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Ty Simpson, quarterback out of the University of Alabama.
Ooh, that's spicy, man. That's spicy. The Detroit Lions are on the clock. They need a tackle, defensive lineman, linebacker. Where the Detroit Lions going?
And let me see, who are my top available tackles?
I'm gonna bring that right up for you. Let's see.
Because I believe they need to go ahead and get up on that offensive line. Oh, bam, got it. With the 17th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of the University of Alabama.
Excellent. So now you on the 18th pick. The Minnesota Vikings need running back, center, D-line, and safety help. Where the Vikings going?
The Vikings are going to take a mid-major player with the ninth. I mean, the Vikings, yes, they're going to take safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo University.
Love it. So, I mean, my man, after taking, who did the Jets take? The Jets took Arvell Reese. So they get their pass rusher. Then you circle back around and take Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama. Talk to us about that pick.
The Jets are basically they're rolling the dice on this one. They're just rolling the dice and basically just trying to see what they can get. Ty Simpson is probably the next best quarterback on that draft board, and the Jets are desperately seeking a quarterback. The draft for quarterbacks will be even better next year, they believe. But they went ahead and took a swing at Ty this year, and if they have to, they may take another swing next year. But they go ahead and roll the dice with Ty right there at that spot.
17, the Detroit Lions take the big tackle from Alabama, Caden Proctor. Talk to the people about that pick.
A much needed pick just to help keep Goff on his toes, on his feet, and that was a quick no-brainer for Detroit.
Yes, sir. And at 18, the Vikings go safety with Emmanuel McNeil Warren, one of the more interesting prospects in the draft. Talk to us about that pick.
They just liked everything about the young fella. You know, like I said, he came from a mid-major, but he did everything that they wanted to see a safety do. And I want to say that he was the next best available safety on the board. So that's a position of need that they needed, and they went and got it.
Yes, sir. Shout out to our man Level Up Sports 10 in the chat. Good morning. I hope all is well, homie. We'd like to take a second out of the podcast just for y'all to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channels. We cooking. One take Zay, the Carolina Panthers, the Dallas Cowboys back on the clock in the first round. Pittsburgh Steelers at 19. Where you got the Carolina Panthers going on this one? You there, homie?
No, one take up out of here. So we're gonna push that. We're gonna push that to you.
No, there he is. I think he on mute.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that tag is in the way. Yeah, I couldn't see it. There you go.
You on mute.
Unmute one take.
No, can't hear you.
Do some sign language or something, bro.
So let's all right. So I'll take these 3 picks and then he'll take my 3 picks. So the Carolina Panthers on the clock at 19. I think it's only right that Jordan Tyson is still on the board. I like him, the wide receiver from Arizona State. And then at 20, the Dallas Cowboys, after taking Kenyon Sadiq, I think they need defensive line, linebacker, and corner help. So I think Jermod McCoy will be the perfect pick here. And then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Damn.
Parlay Pose. My bad. You got the next 3, homie. Parlay Pole, Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock. I think they want to get back to that physicality, that physical offensive line. So I'm going to give them the big guard from Penn State at 21. So at 20, just a quick recap. I took Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State. Get that quarterback another weapon. Jermod McCoy, I think if he gets back to full health, which he probably will be a steal at 20. And then the physicality on the offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward is important. I gave them the big guard from Penn State.
You know, I was doing. We had all the same picks except for Jermod McCoy.
Nice.
Who all did you pick again, real quick?
I took Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State, at 19 for the Panthers. I took Jermod McCoy, the corner from Tennessee, for the Dallas Cowboys, their second pick in the first round. And then I took the guard from Penn State for Pittsburgh at 21. One take, Zay, back on the clock with the Chargers at 22. They claim their needs are wide receiver, guard, defensive line, and safety. Where the Chargers going on this pick, homie?
At 22, the Chargers is going to select Caden McDonald at Ohio State.
Okay, so the Chargers get a big defensive tackle. And I really like this prospect, man. I think this is an excellent pick for the Chargers. At 23, the Philadelphia Eagles is on the clock. Zay, they need wide receiver, tackle, edge, and safety. Where the Eagles going?
Can you scroll down the big board? Oh, okay, we got him right there. At 23, we're going Keldrick Falk out of Auburn.
Interesting. Okay. And the Cleveland Browns, after taking Sonny Styles earlier in the first round, are back on the clock at 24. They claim their needs are QB, wide receiver, guard, and tackle. Where the Brownies going on this one?
Yeah, let me see the big board. All them guys are gone.
What position you looking at, though?
All them guys are gone.
Looking at that position, buddy.
There you go, right there. We going from at 24. We're going Emmanuel Prignon out of Oregon.
Ooh, good pick.
What was that position?
Guard.
Okay, so let's run it down, man. At 22 for the Chargers, you get the big defensive tackle, Caden McDonald from Ohio State. Talk to the people.
Okay, McDonald, I think he might be the best interior defensive lineman in this draft. So to get him at 24 is a steal to me. At 23, Keldrick Falk, I love his size, 6'6", 270, just a big body. You could play him inside or outside. We know the Philadelphia Eagles, they've been investing into that defensive line for a few years now. You can never add enough depth, though. And then at 24, we know Cleveland's line was horrible last year. They got to get some bodies in that room. And really, in the real world, I think if their guy, if the board falls like this, they'd possibly trade back and still be able to get that guy.
Hey, but we done picked up 3 linemen in free agency. We got three solid linemen in free agency. I actually would have liked that seen Cleveland take a wide receiver right here, but shoring up that line is definitely a great thing. So I wouldn't be mad at this pick either, because I still believe there's some really, really good wide receivers still on the board. So I don't think that was a bad pick right there, but I still would have preferred for my Brownies to grab a wide receiver right there in that first round.
Yeah, I agree, T1, but you still got Zachariah Branch, Amari Cooper on the board. You got the kid out of UConn. You still got Denzel Boston. You don't got to reach for a receiver right here if you can add depth in another position.
Still out there too, right?
You got so many dudes out there still that you can get value in a later round.
I believe so. That's why I said I wasn't really upset with that pick, because, like I said, there are still wide receivers on the board where they should be able to get a pretty good one here in an early second.
Okay, interesting dialogue, man. Cleveland definitely can go so many different directions in this draft with 2 first-round picks. Rob, you back on the clock at 25 with the Chicago Bears. They claim their needs are center, defensive line, and safety. Where the Bears going?
My bad. At pick 25, the Chicago Bears are going with defensive end Zion Young out of Missouri. Last year, their only pass rush productivity was from Montez Sweat, who had 10 sacks. They thought the other guy who suffered an Achilles injury towards the end of the season or toward mid part of the season went down, so they need to get some help at that defensive end position to get some pressure on the quarterback. At 26, the Buffalo Bills go defense. Avion Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. They had to free up some space in order to be able to get somebody to be able to get a cornerback, because they lost some tight end help. So I think that they're going to go cornerback right here. And at 27, the San Francisco 49ers take offensive tackle Blake Miller out of Clemson as well. Clemson guys going back-to-back in the draft. Offensive tackle. Eventually, Trent Williams is going to have to move on and go on to his rocking chair, so they need to have somebody in place that could be his heir apparent at some point. So they take Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson.
Interesting picks, my man. You took Zion Young at 25 for the Chicago Bears with Akeem Mesidor still available. Tell me why you made that pick.
Probably because I forgot that Mesidor was still on the board. I thought by now he would have been gone. I should have been paying a little bit closer attention. But they need defensive end help, so they probably could have went with Mesidor as well. But they go with Zion Young, defensive end out of Missouri. Like I said earlier, to get them some help with the pass rush, because they only had 35 sacks last year, tied for 22nd in the league. And the guy that they depended on to get them some help, Deo, I can't pronounce his last name, suffered an Achilles injury, so they needed to get some defensive end help. I probably was asleep because I missed out on Akeem Mesidor, who probably should have got picked right there.
Okay, how about the Buffalo Bills scoring defense, excuse me, and getting the corner from Clemson?
Well, they needed to get cornerback help because they got rid of a couple of guys from their team at their cornerback position, so that way they could free up some salary cap money so that they could draft a guy at this position and to get some tight end help during free agency. So they went ahead and got Avion Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson.
Good pick. Excellent pick. And then Blake Miller, the tackle from Clemson, going to San Fran. Talk to us about that pick.
Well, they need an offensive tackle, especially once Trent Williams decides to hang it up. This is the guy that they can have come out there and probably play on the right side for a couple of years and then eventually move over to the left side. I think they needed him. So I think that they had to go in that direction. They had to get an offensive lineman, period. But they needed more of a tackle than they did a guard. So they went with Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson.
Yeah, excellent pick, man. They Parlay Poor in the chat said since he can't pay Trent crazy at 37, Trent Williams still the best. And Level of Sports 10 said Terrell from Clemson would be a force. Yeah, I agree with that. Man. My man, you back on the clock with the Texans at 28. They claim they need a running back, center, guard, or defensive lineman. Where are the Texans going? Team 1.
Let me see that best available guard.
Best available guard. I'm gonna pull that up for you, my man.
I believe they have a pretty good defense, and they need to protect CJ.
100%. So you got the guard from Texas A&M, got the guard from Georgia Tech.
Because he's the highest one on the board. I can't see that. That's small. What's that name?
Chase Bisontis.
All right. So with the 28th pick of this NFL draft, the Houston Texans are taking Chase B out of Texas A&M University.
Okay, the Kansas City Chiefs back on the clock at 29. Who did they take earlier? Let's scroll up and take a look. Kansas City went Mansur Delane, the corner from LSU, at 9. They're back on the clock at 29 with needs at wide receiver, edge. Where are they going?
Give me that edge out of Miami that's still on the board since he's there. They would have liked to gotten a wide receiver, but as we said, we still have wide receivers on the board, and with that talent right there still on the board, Kansas City gotta pick him up.
Hey man, I like it. I think that's a steal at this point of the draft. At 30, the Miami Dolphins, after taking the wide receiver from Arizona State earlier in the first round, they still need a guard. They still need a DB. Where they going with this pick?
Let me see what that guard position is looking like right now.
Okay.
We're gonna go over to the guard position.
All right, let's move to
and try to protect that new quarterback that they got coming in.
All right, man. Here we go. Kylan Rutledge from Georgia Tech, and then you got a couple centers.
Let's go with the best available and go with Kylan Rutledge out of Georgia Tech. What's that position? Is he a tackle?
He a guard.
A guard. Okay, yeah. Let's go with that position.
All right, man. Break down your picks. You take the big guard from Texas A&M for the Houston Texans at 28. What was your thoughts on that?
Just getting somebody that could protect CJ. You know, that's most important right now. He got beat up a little bit last year in his sophomore season, and they know that he's a great quarterback that can spin that ball and make the right decisions out there on the field. He just needs to be able to have a little bit more time so that he can do what he was born to do. So that was an easy no-brainer pick right there for Houston.
Yeah, I like the pick. I think the Texans probably, for me, have the best defense in the NFL heading into the season. I think it'd be crucial for them to protect their quarterback, and their wide receivers got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
If all that happens, I think the Texans can truly cook this season.
Agreed.
At 29, you get a steal, Akeem Mesidor from Miami, the pass rusher. Talk to the people on this pick.
Hey, like we know that Kansas City's offense is Kansas City's offense. They're gonna do what they do. They have to get that defensive side sold up so that they can stop them points coming in, and they'll be able to score more points than the opposing team. And just to have a player of that caliber all the way down there available at the 29th pick, that was a no-brainer, and the Kansas City staff was ecstatic about this pick.
No doubt about that. Malik Willis signs with the Miami Dolphins, and you get him some protection with Keelan Rutledge, the guard from Georgia Tech. Why'd you make that pick?
Just like every quarterback, they need time, and with the position that they're putting Willis in right now, and giving him the keys to this Cadillac, they want to keep him upright. So it's going to be very, very important for them to solidify that offensive line to give them an opportunity to do some great things on offense. You know, they have the running back position locked up. They have pretty good wide receivers out there. So just getting that line together, and the defense is not horribly bad. So they want to get that offense to clicking, because it's going to be a new offense this year. So, you know, got to have that offensive line. So that was a very, very important piece for the first round with the Dolphins.
I can dig it. My man, One Take Zay, closing out the first round for us, man. And the New England Patriots are on the clock. They need tackle, defensive line, and linebacker help. Where the Patriots going with this pick, homie?
This is a real easy one. If CJ Allen is there, they can take CJ Allen. He is definitely a first round talent. It's kind of simple right there.
Okay,
now,
go ahead.
Right here at Seattle is Lamu. Did somebody pick Lamu already out of Utah, the other tackle?
No, I don't think he's still on the board.
Okay, yeah, we selected Lamu right here. I think he could play inside or outside. So I think they want to shore up some more of that offensive line and go ahead and select Lamu. I think he could play guard or tackle in the NFL. So he's one of them hybrid guys you take. If you need him to play outside, he play outside. You need him to play inside, he play inside.
Yeah, excellent picks to close out the first round. And you know, let's recap our draft, man. I think this was a pretty good mock this here Saturday morning. At first, of course, nobody's shocked about the first pick. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana. At 2, the Jets get a massive pass rusher in Arvell Reese from Ohio State. At 3, the Cardinals are thinking defensively. They take David Bailey, the edge from Texas Tech. At 4, the Tennessee Titans go Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. At 5, the New York G-Men take the safety from Ohio State, Caleb Downs. And at 6, the Cleveland Browns take Sonny Styles from Ohio State. At 7, the Commanders go Mekhi Lemon, getting another piece to that offense. I think that was an excellent pick. At 8, the Saints take Ruben Bain, the edge rusher from Miami. At 9, the Kansas City go defense. Kansas City Chiefs go defense and get Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU. At 10, the Bengals, they want to protect Joe Burrow. They take the tackle, Francis Malgoa from Miami. At 11, the Miami Dolphins get the wide receiver from Ohio State, Carnell Tate. At 12, the Dallas Cowboys think offense, and they take Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. At 13, the LA Rams take Monroe Freeland, the tackle from Georgia. He's been skyrocketing up the draft boards. At 14, the Baltimore Ravens get some protection for Lamar Jackson. They go Spencer Fano, the tackle from Utah. At 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get their safety in Dylan Thieneman. At 16, another quarterback in the first round, the Jets take Ty Simpson from Alabama. And at 17, the Detroit Lions need offensive line help. They go Caden Proctor, the big tackle from Alabama. At 18, the Vikings take Emmanuel McNeil Ward, the safety from Toledo. At 19, the Carolina Panthers get another quarterback to add opposite side of T-Mac and Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. At 20, the Dallas Cowboys get Jermod McCoy, the cornerback from Tennessee. At 21, Pittsburgh goes offensive line. They get the big guard from Penn State. At 22, the Chargers get some help up the middle on defense. They get Caden McDonald, defensive lineman from Ohio State. At 23, the Eagles take Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher from Auburn. At 24, the Cleveland Browns get Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon, the big guard from Oregon. At 25, the Chicago Bears get pass rush help. They get Zion Young from Missouri. At 26, the Buffalo Bills, they take Avion Terrell, the corner from Clemson. At 27, the San Francisco 49ers take Blake Miller, the tackle from Clemson. And then at 28, the Texans, they get the big guard from Texas A&M, Chase Basantis. At 29, Akeem Mesidor is off the board. The edge from Miami goes to Kansas City. And then at 30, the Miami Dolphins take a guard, Kylan Rutledge from Georgia Tech. The New England Patriots get their linebacker. They go C.J. Allen from Georgia. And then 32, the defending Super Bowl champions take tackle Caleb Lemieux from Utah. Any thoughts on these picks, fellas?
I think that was a pretty good first round draft right there. I think we did our thing. That's a pretty good mock draft, and I don't think there's one out there like that. So I think we put original first rounder out there. A few of the, like the number one overall pick, and number two, that was a no brainer. But then I think after that number 1 and 2, I think we picked some pretty nice picks that you don't see on a whole lot of people's mock draft board.
Yeah, man, I want to ask you about the Cleveland Browns because you take Sonny Styles, you take the linebacker from Ohio State. I get that that's a talent that's hard to pass up on, but with needs on the offensive line and that wide receiver, why did you feel the need to take the linebacker from Ohio State?
It just pretty much every team in the NFL was just blown away by his size and his numbers that he put up in the combine, and Cleveland just feels like he could possibly he's actually going to be a better NFL player than he was a college player, and they feel like they have a generational linebacker that they can plug in there with that second year linebacker that they got out of UCLA last year. And they think that they can really, really have a great linebacking core to go along with that front four. And they may be able to do some great things on defense, which can at times help the offense out.
No doubt. Rob, I want to get your thoughts on this, man. Jeremiah Love paired with Cam Ward in Tennessee. What are you expecting from that duo moving forward?
Well, I think that would be a very, very good pick for my Tennessee Titans to get Jeremiah Love right there, a guy who can be a 3-down back. He's good in pass pro. If we need to keep him in the block, he's also good out the backfield catching the ball. Him in space, man, in the NFL was going to be dynamic for the Titans, especially when you got a guy that you got to check down to that got the talent of a Jeremiah Love. That's going to be unbelievable. I think that if the Titans can get him at 4, they can really start working on having an offensive unit around Cam Ward that can allow the Titans to score in the 20s each game. If they can get their defense to the point where they can hold teams under 20, they can win a lot more games. Because when you add a Jeremiah Love, your point total has to go up. And he's good for at least 10 points a game in the NFL, and that's a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, thou sure up the backfield for the Tennessee Titans. At wide receiver, I heard y'all bringing back Calvin Ridley. You got a couple of rookies who are making a little noise out there in Tennessee. Are you satisfied with the receiving core for Cam Ward, or do you think Tennessee should look for a receiver in the later rounds?
They should definitely look for a wide receiver in the later rounds. A guy like Calvin Ridley, who has had an opportunity for 2 years to solidify himself as the number one wide receiver, he drops way too many passes for me to be a number one receiver. If he hasn't figured it out in his mind that he's going to be the number one receiver and catch these balls that are very catchable to make this offense really, really go, if he's not going to be reliable, then they definitely need to move on. But I would, if I'm the Titans, I'm picking somebody at wide receiver in the later rounds to see what I can get, because they got a couple of young guys who are definitely going to be out there on the field making plays. And we saw them making some plays last year. We just need Calvin Ridley to understand you are number one wide receiver. You're back for another season. You have got to give us better hand production than what you gave us last year, dropping way too many passes as a number one receiver.
If y'all get Jeremiah Love, y'all need to just go ahead and get A.J. Brown and stop playing around. Calvin Ridley is a number 2 in the league. He's not a real number 1. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, if they can pull off getting A.J. Brown back to Tennessee, they cooking with grease. Any thoughts on that, Rob?
Man, I think that we left a bitter taste in A.J. Brown's mouth, and I don't know if A.J. Brown would want to come back to Tennessee. Maybe they can have a conversation with him to where he wants to be the number one wide receiver again in Tennessee and help out this young quarterback in Cam Ward. They're going to have to do some convincing, because we all know a guy like A.J. Brown is going to be demanding a lot, especially a lot of touches of the football. I would love to get him back. I thought the Titans should have never let him get away. They should have paid the man, because he was our best receiver at the time. He'll probably come in and be our best receiver. If they can get him for the right price, according to the cap, I would love to have A.J. Brown back, but he has to come and be a locker room guy. He can't come thinking he's going to overthrow things because he got a bitter taste in his mouth for being at the Titans the last time.
One take, Zay. I know you rock. I know you rock with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heavy. We mocked Dylan Thieneman to them, the safety for Oregon. How you feel about that pick?
Whoever made that pick did an outstanding job with that pick. That was a great pick. Our DBs was getting murdered last year, man.
Yeah, no doubt. And just, I want to ask you, like, how do you feel about the offense moving forward with Mike Evans no longer there?
We good, man. I think we had the best wide receiver corps in the NFL last year. And you're not replacing nobody like Mike Evans, but a combination of guys, bro. I just like the depth that we always had in that room. Now, some of them dudes is made of glass. We got to get some strength and conditioning going on, because some of these dudes just be hurt too much. But nevertheless, we still got Tej Johnson came on strong last year. We still got old boy that played with what's Atlanta's quarterback name?
Who, Penix?
Yeah, we still got the dude that played with Penix at Washington too. He was hurt all last year though. Still got Chris Godwin. Still got that Ohio State Buckeye boy. You know what I mean? So I like the depth that we got at receiver. That's why I wasn't mad when he walks, because they said we offered him more money. He just wanted to be a number 1. But he ain't the number 1 no more. Ibuka is our number 1.
Okay. T1, man, let me ask you. A lot of people are not high on the quarterback class this year. You had the Jets taking Simpson from Alabama, who's probably been shooting up the draft boards. But why did you feel comfortable about taking Ty Simpson in the first round at 16 to the Jets?
That wasn't my pick. That came from the front office. I'm with the mass. Like I don't I don't even think that Ty Simpson is a first rounder. He's definitely not a first rounder in some of these other NFL drafts previous to this year. So that's just something that the front office wanted to do. They wanted to go and they wanted to search and, like I said, roll the dice and see if they can get a quarterback. And that's the pick that they went with.
Okay, cool. Do you buy that some of the analysts are saying that Ty Simpson's tape is better than Fernando Mendoza's tape?
I don't. And I don't like even Mendoza's, not only his tapes, but like even his numbers. I mean, if you look at previous number one overall draft picks as quarterbacks and you put his numbers next to theirs, it doesn't look like a number one overall draft pick.
Okay, Rob, Rob, it looked like you had the thought clouds. You got any thoughts on that question?
I was going to say, for what T-Juan was saying, he just wanted to keep getting that paycheck as a general manager. So when the big boss called down and said, hey, listen, we taking Ty Simpson, he said, all right, boss.
Yeah, that's it. You just gotta roll with him.
Hey, so listen, I ain't gonna lie. I like Ty Simpson and his tape. I don't have trust and faith in dudes that don't be having enough starts in college. You can't just go 1 year and just go to the NFL. That's not how that position works. And it's been proven behind the numbers. But as far as his tape, like, I watch a lot of football, bruh. And one thing I understand is, y'all know I like Mendoza, but I got to be honest about Mendoza too. They ran a lot of RPO for Mendoza. So it was like, all right, if you ain't handing the ball off, you got this target and that target. You got to make more reads in the NFL. And that's the only scary thing about Mendoza. But I don't know. I think Ty Simpson's tape is a first round, it's a first round tape for real. But he's small though. He only 6 foot for real, 6'1". That's a small dude to not be like he ain't stiff or nothing, but he ain't as mobile as he should be at that size.
Do you buy the comparisons that a lot of scouts are making with Brock Purdy?
Nah, Brock Purdy a gunslinger. You know, dudes like Purdy and like Bo Nix, you know, they get away with it because they gunslinger. I don't really see Ty Simpson being like a gunslinger.
Okay.
I'm just like I'm not even high. I'm not high on Mendoza. I'm really interested to see how he's going to go with them Oakland Raiders. I really am. I'm not high on him at all, and he better have an offensive line. He better have some protection because that's the only way I see him being successful. He better have a 5-star offensive line. He better have time to throw that ball because I just don't see it. I just don't see it. You know, they had last season they had a few games to where, you know, you always got to have a little bit of luck on your side to get to a national championship. And they definitely had some games where they had some luck on their side. And like I say, even with his numbers, I just was not impressed as a number one overall draft pick. I don't see a Peyton Manning. I don't see that. I don't even see a Ward out of Tennessee. Like, I don't see it. I don't even see a Shedeur Sanders with him. I don't see it. I don't see him better than like none of those quarterbacks. I mean, he went number one overall. And, you know, I guess when they pump you up and put you up on a pedestal like that, that's just where you go. And now he's going to have to go and prove it because it's almost 100% that the Raiders are going to take him number one overall.
I'm glad you said that because I want to get your thoughts on this, man. Do you buy that in Cleveland there will be a quarterback battle with Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders? And if so, who do you lean?
I don't think that it's. I don't think. I don't think it's a battle. I mean, Watson coming off of that injury, and Watson just really he had his opportunity to prove what he could do, and I can't see him coming back and just returning to his Houston form this year after injury, after all these years, after sitting out all of these games. I just don't see it, and you have to go towards the future, and you just have to look at Watson as a mentor and a safety net.
Okay, I think I tend to agree with that. I just don't see Deshaun Watson getting back to that Houston, that MVP type form after all these injuries, all and sitting out 2 years. I just don't see it, man. Any closing thoughts y'all got on the mock draft?
Yeah,
We did our thing.
Hey, Post, I ain't knocking your pick, but I did have somebody text my phone and say, forget that tight end draft pick because they like Jake Ferguson out there in Dallas.
I get it, but you get a tight end who runs in the 4.3s. I think that could really change that offense and make it even more explosive. But that's a good thought for my man Rob of WTP Sports News, T1 of City League TV, One Take Zay of the One Take Zay podcast, and me, Post Game of Post Game Sports. Hit that like, hit that share, subscribe to the channels, and we out of here. Peace.
Low post, mid post, high post. Post game sports.